So today we are here to stand up for democracy. I want to thank our County of San Diego librarians and staff who have joined us because over the last 4 years, the San Diego County Board of Supervisors has been a guardian of our community's shared values and rights, such as reproductive freedom, declaring racism a public health crisis, and uplifting the LGBTQ community across our county. These actions reflect our commitment here to equity, justice, and progress. We must continue going forward. We will not go back. But unfortunately, in our country, the freedom to read what you want is under attack. But that will not be what happens here in San Diego County on my watch. Last year, more than 4,200 book titles were targeted for censorship across the United States. Many of the bans involve books representing the voices and experiences of queer, Black, Indigenous, and people of color. With the policy I'm introducing today, we're protecting your right to read and fighting back against bigotry. Book bans are designed to suppress certain viewpoints and limit access to information. In recent years, there's been a series of concerted, deliberate efforts by conservative right-wing politicians and organizations to restrict and remove books from libraries and schools. In Florida, the school districts make up 40% of all book bans across the United States. In Lake County, Florida, this is a pretty good one, they banned a book called And Tango Makes Three, which was based on the true and heartwarming story of two male penguins from New York City's Central Park Zoo who took in and cared for an orphaned penguin. They said it was promoting alternative lifestyles. Penguins. The crisis has gotten so bad in Florida that even uber-conservative Florida Governor Ron DeSantis earlier this year backtracked on his original book ban, saying some school districts may have gone too far in removing titles from classrooms. But this is also happening closer to home. Mexican White Boy by San Diego-based author Matthew de la Pena was banned in Tucson, Arizona, and La Jolla-based author Dr. Seuss was on the list of 14 titles banned by a Katy, Texas school district. Book bans threaten our intellectual freedom and stifle critical thinking and creativity. Just think Fahrenheit 451. But we cannot stand for this, and we cannot let this happen here in San Diego County. So the policy I'm asking my colleagues to support on Tuesday, August 27th, were to protect our democracy and your freedom to read whatever you wish in our schools and our libraries. Our recommendations are as follows. Have the county support California Assembly Bill 1825, the Freedom to Read Act, which prevents library boards from banning or restricting the circulation of materials based on viewpoints. Acquire and make available hard and digital copies of banned books to ensure access at each of our 33 county library locations. Recognize Banned Book Week at all San Diego County libraries starting this year. Banned Book Week, put it on your calendars now, is September 22nd through 28th. So I'm looking forward to creating a permanent Banned Book Week at the County of San Diego every single year. And we hope we can be celebrating Banned Book Week with a dedicated display like this one, aligning with other National Book Week efforts across our country. We're going to be asking our CAO to light up the County Administration Center in blue, red, and orange on the Monday of Banned Book Week every year. And we're going to be exploring additional funding opportunities and public education campaigns to increase awareness around banned books and ensure that we can have culturally inclusive books and literature in our county libraries. My policy has the strong support of county library staff, librarians, civil liberties organizations, and literacy advocates. Some of them are here with us today. As I'm sure many of you have experienced, our county libraries are special places for our community to visit and expand their minds. Learn about new things, places, cultures, and people. One of my favorite activities is taking my 5-year-old to the library on Thursday and Friday afternoons. The stewards who help residents gain access to those materials that help them read and learn are county librarians and library staff. We have a few of our extraordinary librarians here with us today. So I'd like to now turn the floor over to Leslie Ann Maslin, an adult services librarian.
The library, as an institution, has always been a bastion of knowledge. Without the free access of information to bridge digital divides and literacy gaps for all ages, our communities would be pale shades of what they strive to be. Today, libraries are central hubs for families, new Americans, and a respite for the unsheltered. Every resident in San Diego County deserves the right and freedom to read what they want without hindering their neighbor's right to read in the very same way. The ability to read is liberation for our minds. The liberty to choose the titles and subjects to read is a constitutional right. Our librarians and library staff at the front lines work every day to bring curated titles that are centered towards our diverse communities without censorship or judgment. This important step in acknowledging and enshrining the celebration of Banned Book Week is imperative in protecting our right to read and is long overdue. The American Library Association likes to say that libraries transform, and we do. We transform the people walking through our doors every day through easy computer access, the newest mystery bestseller, or through creative story times that engage young minds through movement and playtime. As libraries housed scrolls and tablets in Great Library of Alexandria of ancient Egypt, and now we provide ebook access on tablets. The work and the goal of libraries has transformed for the modern age, but the vision remains the same. We work to inform, educate, entertain, and inspire all of our communities so that every one person can create their own story.
Thank you so much. I'd also like to say thank Stephanie Kim for being here today and Sarah Nilsson. So thank you both for making it. In our country, the freedom to read what you want is under attack. This should not be happening, and it will not be happening here in San Diego County. Unfortunately, some extremist politicians are working hard to suppress certain viewpoints and limit access to information. Book bans threaten our intellectual freedom and stifle critical thinking and creativity. We're here today to stand up against that and to say, not on my watch, not here in San Diego. With this policy I'm bringing forward, we're protecting your rights and your freedoms to read and make sure that you can make your own choices. So thank you very much, and we're open for any questions you may have. So just to be clear, this policy is about our county libraries. We have no jurisdiction over the schools. That's it. I feel like it's happy to talk about not that feels like a very different topic, but yeah. Absolutely. So there's been a couple incidences in Rancho Penasquitos. There was an incident where people came and checked out a whole bunch of books that they didn't agree with the viewpoint to try to suppress access to that information by other members of the public. Something similar happened in Coronado. These are both neighborhoods that are in my district. And, at the end of the day, what we're here saying is that it's about freedom for every individual and freedom of choice. If you don't want to read it, don't check it out. If you don't want your kid to read it, don't check it out for your kid. But don't be taking off the shelves for other people. Don't be telling other parents what they can and cannot do. Everyone should have the right to make those choices for themselves. And this is about really ensuring that people have that kind of freedom of choice. Many of them are, yeah. Mhm. There's been, as I said, 4,200 books banned across the United States, and some of them will really surprise you. Like I said, Dr. Seuss, a number of Dr. Seuss books. But the one that really got me was this book about the penguins. I just blew my mind. It was a true story about two penguins who happened to both be males who were, you know, kind-hearted penguins who took in an orphan penguin and was banned for being about gay penguins, which I can't imagine anything sort of more distressing than to have a book about altruism and generosity, and then refusing to allow people to have access to these kinds of stories. Not in our county. We don't do that. That's part of what we're going to be establishing. So there's a national one, and we want our county to join. Mhm. Yeah, exactly. It's so diverse. I mean, honestly, there are books about, I mean, To Kill a Mockingbird is still banned in parts of our country, right? I mean, there's some books that I think have been canons of literature for a generation or longer, that are uncomfortable to people, and they continue to be banned. And so, I think what we're really concerned about is ensuring that all of these diverse viewpoints are able to be heard, and that people have the freedom to read and the freedom to choose, because it's really cuts across the board what kind of books have been banned. So how's the process to ban a book? Depends on where you are. So it could be, uh, you know, uh, the governor in Florida passed, with the legislator, passed some rules around what kind of books could be included in the universities, in libraries. Sometimes it's school districts, sometimes it's county library systems who say we're going to not put those books on our shelves. Sometimes it's uh, even the librarians themselves may be under, because they're afraid, because they're getting a lot of pressure from a few community members, and they don't know and feel supported by their elected officials. So part of what we're here to say as well is, we got your back. We're here to support our librarians, and they should never be intimidated by a couple people coming in and yelling at them, and trying to censor the literature that would be available to the broader public. So the kind of the sources of those bans can be many, which is why we think it's so important just to, basically put our flag in the ground and say, not here, not in San Diego County, not on our watch. Anything to add to that?